Welcome to the Life in Michigan podcast. Life in Michigan is more than an online magazine. We share the stories, experiences, and vibrant personalities that make the Great Lakes state truly unique. In this podcast, we bring you inspiring, heartwarming, and sometimes unexpected conversations with people who call Michigan home. From the rugged beauty of the Upper Peninsula to the bustling creativity of Kalamazoo, we'll cover the stories and define what it means to live, work, and play in Michigan. Today on the Life in Michigan podcast, we're talking to Aaron and Ryan Cottingem, the founders of Witch's Hat Brewing Company in South Lyon, Michigan. Their annual event, Fury for a Feast, is coming up on Saturday, August 16th to help feed those in need. During our chat, we learn about how this all started, what's planned for this year's event, and why giving is a core to everything they do. Grab a beer and let's get started. Ryan, Aaron, so good to see you guys. Thank you for being on the Life in Michigan podcast. How are you guys doing?
We're great. Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Awesome. So in the off chance that somebody who's listening has no idea what Witch's Hat is or who you guys are, maybe you can give a little bit for our listeners of like the origin story for Witch's Hat and what your roles are at the brewery.
Sure. So we are Witch's Hat Brewing Company. We opened in 2011, the day after Christmas in 2011. So, we're coming up on our 14th anniversary in a few months here. We were fans of craft beer, and lucky for us, we were able to get in the industry when it was a really good time to do that, and we've been brewing our butts off ever since.
You gotta tell the full story, though.
Just getting into the full story, though. You want to tell the full story?
Well, it started with a Mr. Beer kit that we found at a garage sale for $3. Only one part of the kit was used, so we were able to brew up some beer, made some awful beer, but it started like that hunger for brewing, and learning more about it. And he started to win awards home brewing, and it got to the point where I was like, no more equipment unless we open a brewery. And that's what we did.
That's awesome. A Mr. Beer. Wow.
Yeah. It took a few years to get there. And then in the recession, 2009, 2010, we both lost our jobs. I did underground construction, and Aaron was going to school and then was a secretary at a plumbing company. And we both got laid off right as we were bringing our first daughter into this world. So it kind of gave us that time to sit down and draw up a business plan, and then rip that one up and drop another one and rip that one up. And then we eventually got something going, and we were able to, make this happen.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember you were first in a different location over in South Lyon, right? You were I remember going there and it was little, but the beer was so good.
We were so bootstrapped. I mean, we had no money going into this. We were literally just going in with nothing in hopes that we would get a very small loan to open up in that small location. We even had a family friend build our brew house. So he was like a fabricator, and we kind of drew it up together, and he built it like any way we could save money. And but yeah, at the time, that was all we could really afford to get into, was that small place. And we had a small short lease, hoping that we would outgrow it and be able to move, and we did, to the location we're in. But yeah, at that time it was very hard getting open, very hard being funded. And I mean, we literally, I was driving to Ypsi to buy a couple small 3-barrel fermenters with a check that I knew would bounce. Funding didn't come through in the next couple of days, and lucky for us, it did. And we were able to get open and join this crazy industry.
I feel like I read a book about a guy out in California, had a similar story where he became quite who was that? Oh, he was running around bouncing checks all over the place, trying to get his brewery going, and it was in California. Who was that guy? He had a great book. It was a great memoir. I laughed the entire time. I'll have to find that and put it in the show notes.
Yeah. I do say we didn't actually bounce the check, so that actually
he was bouncing them like crazy.
Yeah, definitely. But
So
lucky for us, we were able to get there. And then in 2014, we moved to our current location. And when, this has just been a progression ever since. And we expanded into distribution and expanded here. And then in 2020, we, really lucky
yeah.
for us, we invested heavily into our building and put a kitchen in. And we opened in February 2020. And then a month later, not even a month later, a couple weeks later, we had to shut everything down. But now that we are obviously out of that time, we now have some really great food and, still making really good beer, and we have our own spirits program and wine program as well. So we're kind of doing it all right now. So it's come a long way from that little strip mall.
Yeah, I would say you guys are, I would say, one of the cornerstones, in Michigan craft brew. I remember, like Brenda said, going to Witch's Hat when you guys were in the strip mall there. Just a little tiny space, but awesome beers. The beers have always been, fabulous. And then I remember again, like when, during the pandemic, going out there just to buy some beers, and you guys had I think shortly after when we could get back together, you had some stuff outside. And so, yeah, it's always been a cornerstone. So what do you think it is that makes the brewery stand out?
We are community focused.
Yeah.
I think that's what really our community embraced us so much when we first opened. Ryan didn't mention that our first day we opened, we had a line at the door for 13 hours straight.
Wow.
We had some friends and neighbors come in, but we'd never expected the response that we got. We ran out of beer. It was amazing. I think that we felt so much gratitude for them showing up in the big ways that they did, that we've turned around and we've been able to show up for our community in big ways. And I think that counts for a lot of folks. I think that the beer tastes better. Somebody
Yeah.
gets behind it.
Yeah. And we do a lot of fundraising campaigns and help out as many local charities and nonprofits as we can. And I think, like Aaron said, it's really kind of cemented us as a part of this community, and our community just takes care of us immensely. It's amazing. So, and not even just this South Line community, but also the Michigan beer community as well. So we've really been very fortunate in that regard. And yeah, like Aaron said, now beer tastes better when you can feel good about it. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. So coming up on August 17th is the Fury for a Feast, and I believe that is this year's the 13th year. So almost like shortly after you started in the new space, the fest started up. So maybe give folks a preview, since we'll have this out in time for anybody's interested in coming to the fest. What is a Fury for a Feast all about, and what can people expect?
yeah.
First, thank you for sponsoring. We
Oh.
can't do this with our sponsors, and it's you showing up in a big way for our food banks, and we appreciate that so much. When we started Fury for a Feast, we had a whole bunch of Night Fury, our imperial stout in barrels, and it was ready in August. And it was like, all right, well, what are we gonna do with this huge, massive, chewy stout in the middle of summer? Let's go drink it in the parking lot. We thought, if we're going to throw a big event, we should obviously tie this to something that means something, right? We got an opportunity to do that. Why shouldn't we do that? So the idea was born to support food banks in our area. And we started with Gleaners. We love Gleaners. They do wonderful things. Down the road, we had an opportunity to actually give back to one of the food banks that I stood in line at when I was a kid, Active Faith, who is now our next door neighbor and we share parking lots with. Funny how the story comes full circle, but it means a lot to be able to throw this party, have a good time, and give back in a big way to our community to make sure that no one's going hungry. The
Yeah.
basic needs are met,
Yeah, in the summer, they have a huge need for food. Everyone donates, Christmas time and off time, but in the summer, there's such a big need. And so, like Aaron mentioned, we started with Gleaners, and then we now raise food and funds for Active Faith, and then also Blessings in a Backpack. Blessings in a Backpack is a great organization, and what they do is they give kids food in discrete backpacks in their lockers in school to take home, so they doesn't have to be this, just like Aaron said, standing in line at a food bank. They can
Yeah.
very discreetly and get the food they need. In the program in our community in Southland's a pretty well off community, but like their need has quadrupled
Yeah.
in
Wow.
the next couple of years, and it's just amazing to see all the people in our community that need food, not to mention in other communities, but at least we're able to help our community here. And two great organizations that work so hard, and we're just you know happy that we can contribute in some way. And like you said, 13 years, so we've done it 12 years prior, and so far we've raised over $155,000 and
Wow.
Wow.
1,000 pounds of food.
Holy cow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I think last year alone it was over, I think 25,000
Yep.
in the 1 year. So we're hoping to
Wow.
keep that trend going and get a bunch of food donations and raise a bunch of money. And great sponsors like you all are helping with that immensely, and we wouldn't be able to do it without that. So outside of that feel good part, we also release a bunch of cool beers. We have live music all day. We have some really fantastic bands. We've worked with the same sound guys since we started. They come out every year and just kind of don't, hang out with us and
That's awesome.
make it one. I mean, they're just pros. Like the sound is incredible, and we really try to get like great local bands, but then also some bands, that might not be so local. This year we have the Dead at the Winery headlining, and they are very local. They are just a fantastic Grateful Dead tribute band. So they're
Oh,
going to
cool.
rock for 3 hours of Dead hits and just do it in amazing fashion. And then we have a great list of openers before that a lot of the bands that we work with every year. So like the Beggars are going to be back. The Hourlies are coming back again. Stone Clover hasn't been with us in 5 or 6 years. Haven't played Fury.
They were a big part of Fury for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then, there was a little break in there, and back, and we're excited to have him.
Super excited to have Paulie back.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Not nearly as excited as Chuck was when he heard that Stone Clover was playing this year. He was like,
We
got
gotta
to
go.
go.
I don't care what's going on. We're clearing the decks. We're going.
Yeah.
They're so
We even had to move the dates around. Like we were working on bands that we originally were going to do it a week later, and then it didn't all line up. And Stone Clover was one of them. And I was like, okay, this isn't lining up. So then we ended up moving it to August 16th, so we can get all these great bands here. And we're super super excited for it this year.
Yeah, that's out. That's fantastic. I was gonna ask, the music always seems to be like at least to me, as exciting as the beer. Like, so how do you guys end up picking those bands? Is it just they're fans of Witch's Hat and you go, hey, why don't you play here?
It's a good question. I am honestly not sure.
you've been in the music scene.
Yeah. But, I used to play in punk rock, hardcore metal bands back in the day, so I'm pretty familiar with the music scene and the workings of it. But we just got great musicians to start, and I think that just kind of spiraled into, hey, I know this band knows this band, and so they kind of tag along. And a lot of the musicians that we have kind of repeat in either different bands or the same bands. Like the Beggars, they played a few years. Stone Clover's probably played 6 or 7 different Furies. And the Dead at the Winery, that's Rob from Northville Winery, and he also was in another band, Social Bones, that has played almost every Fury. So yeah, they're just fantastic musicians, and just professionals, and it just kind of works out. Last year we had the Verve Pipe, and we got hooked up there because our sound guy knew their tour manager, and it just kind of happened that way. And year before we had Sponge, and we've had Vinny play in other bands, and
Yeah.
I had to, like, twist his arm to get him to actually bring Sponge to us, and finally I was like, we're doing Sponge this year, Vinny. Damn it. It was great. And so yeah.
That's awesome.
So I still have my Fury for a Feast t-shirt. I bought it when we were there in 2021. And I get compliments on it. It's like one of my few beer shirts that people are like, wait, what is this? Tell me about it. It's such a cool shirt. Has the design changed at all, or do you keep the same?
It kind of changes a little bit each year. At first we really ran with like the Night Fury dragon skull over and over, and then we kind of changed it to like bat dragon type bat wings a few years ago. and we've kind of stuck with that branding. Got to tweak it every year for some reason. I just can't leave it alone. So um, it's fun. It's a cool event. The name is kind of funky. So people definitely always ask, like, what is it? What's it about? What am I talking about here? And when have to go into a lengthy explanation of it's Night Fury, and that's how it started, and the feast is the food drive, and all that. But
Made sense at the time.
made sense at the time.
Now we gotta run with it.
No, yeah, now here we are.
So
nice.
how do you divide and conquer? Like, how do you divide up your responsibilities, with your operation? Aaron versus Ryan. I mean, do you have clear, or do you overlap, or like how does that work there?
Man, it has taken us so long to really figure this out. Truly, we've both bounced around. I've worked in the tap room. I've helped in the brewery. I take care of the books the whole way. Ryan is now playing tap room manager and overseeing the brewery all at the same time. So I'm more of like the head of giving away the farm. Which charity can we go to next? Doing the homework there. How do we like give the money away that Brian's doing such a good job making? Also, like I'm the landscape manager, so I've got some pretty big gardens out front these days. So I spend a lot of time in the gardens. But yeah, Ryan's this was his dream from the beginning. So I've just been lucky to be able to support him through it and be a part of it along the way.
Yeah, and we got a great team too, so we can really lean on our crew, and I think we have a really great culture here as well. So our crew is happy, hardworking. They're fantastic at what they do. So we're really lucky in that regard as well. But yeah, it's just, I think when what's the old saying, you do something you love, you're not, you never work a day.
Yeah.
Definitely feels like we work days, but it's yeah, it's I don't know, it's not hard putting in hard work and dividing up and doing, what needs to be done when, it's your kind of labor of love.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys mentioned that, when we were talking about like what makes Witch's Hat stand out is the community and the community that supports you and the community that you support. Um, when you started the brewery, was that a like part of the mission statement, something that you felt passionate about besides being passionate about the beer and providing that to folks? Was it also about we want to do whatever we can for our community? Within the boundary is you're obviously trying to make money to survive and live, but then whatever's extra you're trying to give back. Was that a mission statement for you guys?
It wasn't actually written into our mission statement. We were very focused on just quality, good craft beer and celebrating the craft beer industry when we first rolled out, but
Huh?
it very much become a part of our core values at this point.
Yeah.
Nice. And would you say that, like, obviously you've got the feast aspect for Fury, giving back to the local food banks. What other types of collaborations have you guys done with either other breweries or with other nonprofits?
Yes, we've kind of lumped into some nonprofits and charities that we are very passionate about. The food banks
Mm-hmm.
were a big one, like Aaron mentioned. Like just having that need, as children. But we also, we have raised quite a bit of money for St. Jude, so we've always do like a St. Patrick's event around St. Jude to raise money for them. The Humane Society of Huron Valley, we have always, since we opened, we've sponsored cages and fundraised for them. And we before the brewery, we actually would go there and volunteer and walk dogs and things like that. So another cause is very near and dear to our heart. So those are a couple of the big ones, but we've definitely we've done quite a few, but
Yeah.
we've really fallen into like, let's take care of these few charities. Habitat for Humanity is another one that we're still doing things for. But yeah, I think it's just something that we care about. Like it helps us get passionate and helps us kind of work with them, and yeah.
As far as collaborations, we've done a ton of brewery collaborations
Yeah,
over the years.
we haven't in a while. But yeah, we definitely
COVID kind of
COVID kind of slowed it and stopped.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of great collaborations with breweries. And once again, it kind of just revolves around, friends, fests, sitting around at a beer fest and hanging out at someone's table and chatting. And the next thing you know, a couple weeks later, we're, in the brew house. And
Yeah.
Putting bears into a beer.
yeah. Yeah. So the brewing community has just been amazing. And even when we opened, like Aaron said, we were home brewers. Like we didn't have professional experience coming into this. And I remember right before we opened at the old spot, Todd Parker reached out. He was
Todd.
a Canyon that time, and
Yeah.
everyone in the beer industry. And he reached out and said, "Hey, I'm part of this beer baron club, bunch of professional brewers in our area, and we're going to come out and see you before you open."
It wasn't a question.
Okay, that's and so here's like literally like 2 days before we opened to the public, we had some soft opens, and then it was like 20 brewers just piled in. It was,
Oh,
Dragon Mead and Joe Walters and Liberty Street, and all these
from Stone
Paulie from
Liquor Manufacturing
he
at the time.
was brewing at that time. And I remember they came in, stuck their head in every single fermenter. Like, why the hell are you doing this way? What are you doing? Okay, I'm just like taking notes. And like we've learned so much, and without that collaboration and camaraderie, I mean, we would not be where we're at. It really has shaped and molded us, and even down to all the brewers we've had along the way. Everyone that comes in kind of imparts a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of something, So yeah.
Nice.
I can't imagine having a group of 20 writers arriving at my house asking to like go through whatever my writing before I like publish. I would be a wreck.
It was terrifying. They're fun, nice group of guys.
Yeah.
Like, they were awesome.
I think we learned more that night than I had in like the months leading up to the brewery. It was fantastic. And
the Coonans shared a lot of knowledge in that meeting.
Brett and Eric were fantastic and still are. Yeah.
Big brothers.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So, are there other, like, I guess, other partnerships that you've thought about doing that you haven't had a chance yet that you're really interested in doing besides, the food banks and the Humane Society and such?
That's a good question. Things kind of just come up as they come up. We even had a couple accidents happen in town,
one person, we helped a family whose main source of income came from this person who took their own life. So we were able to donate to the family and bridge that gap around Christmas time, and that was huge. We were able to help the local ice cream shop owner when she fell off her four-wheeler and broke her leg and a bone in her back. Like, we were able to help her through her bad time. So we kind of follow the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
And where are we? What needs our attention right now?
Yeah.
Now, didn't you have a beer with a big Gretsch on it?
We did.
That one.
We still do. Yeah, that one. We have it on right now.
How did that come about?
Oh man, you can get into that. Okay. 2020 was a crazy time. Like in COVID, we really took COVID seriously. In our area, we were one of the few that really buckled down, followed the rules, and felt that we were taking care of our customers and acting responsibly. And there was so much bashing of Gretchen, and we just didn't align with that, didn't agree with it. So we wanted to do something to kind of show support in our own way, and so we did that beer and in homage to her. And then
it's an all Michigan ingredient beer with lavender and honey.
Yep.
Lovely.
Michigan.
Very nice beer.
Yeah.
And she loves it. She's bought it many times. Delivered it to her. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yep. The picture of her drinking that can was one of our biggest posts that we've ever put out there, for good or bad. It was a huge post for us, and we're forever grateful for everything she's done. She paid us a visit. She hung out at the brewery for a while. Like, it was.
Yeah.
We like our guy. We like her.
Yeah, that was super cool. I think that was one of the beers that we made a special because when it came out, we were like, "Oh, this is awesome! This is so
Oh,
cool!" Yeah,
Yeah, we had to go buy some.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
cool.
we got to go and get it right from the source.
Thank you for that.
It's become a staple. We have to have it on every summer, and yeah, it's a great beer. So yeah,
Yeah, it is. It really does taste, you get that essence of the lavender and the honey in there, which is just enough. And it's not like, I think some people think, oh, it's going to either be like super flowery or too sweet. And yeah, it is a great summer beer.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
perfect, especially when it's like 90 degrees out, like right now. It's like,
yes, perfect for that absolutely.
yeah, yeah. So, so looking back, like, um, over the years, uh, what do you think has been the thing that you're most proud of in terms of giving back to your community?
I mean, it's all Fury. That's
Yeah,
the biggest thing. We've made a huge difference in our community.
yeah, that one event has really done a lot.
When we started Fury Blessings in the Backpack, when the first year that we donated to them, they were operating out of one school, one elementary school. And because of Fury, they were able to open up all of those elementary schools in our community that next year. The year after that, because of our contribution, they were able to open up the middle schools. Now they service the middle schools, the high schools, and they have a summer program that they
Wow.
dramatically. So, I mean, you feel so much pride behind something like that, right?
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
it's all about.
It's really
That's,
neat to see what it's become, and yeah, the path that it's on, and crazy to know that, like, even though they've done all that expanding, it's still just their need is quadrupled even on top of that, which is just wild. Yeah. Outside of Fury, I would say one of the other, I think contributions that makes me very proud, and I think both of us very proud, is that we've really become a safe space for people in our community. We're support, um, we're very supportive of just
Everyone.
everybody, right?
yeah.
And you're if you're just a good person, right? We're
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
people, right? And so I think we've done a good job of being that safe space for absolutely everybody. Like the LGBTQ community in our town is really expanded, and now that Southline has its own pride organization as well. And we just hear so often that, we have really become a place that people are safe, comfortable coming to, and welcoming, and for everybody. And
Yeah.
I think that, means a lot to us, just knowing that we can be there for, so whatever anyone's going through, they can come in here and hopefully have a good time, and feel respected.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That is. Um, so do you have other events that you have throughout, like, do you have the typical, like, what is it? Bingo and open mic night. Do you have any music that goes on in your space?
No, we used to. We've really kind of pulled back on it. We used to have music on our patio, and music inside. We really just kind of pull. Yeah, it doesn't really work in our building, right? As much as we would love to, like, have a space that we could do that and focus on it all the time, with
Hmm.
how our brewery and tap room is, it doesn't really just work for us. So we really try to kind of just focus that Fury for a Feast right now. We have done other events, where we've done outside, and we've chose odd times of year to do them, and so we've kind of pulled back recently on those, like the day after Christmas.
St.
It's
Patrick's
been
Day.
a blizzard, and
Yeah.
it's been horrible, and things have blown over and been destroyed, so we kind of like simplified a lot of things,
Yeah.
especially after doing so many years, and the energy it takes, that we just kind of like focus on what we're doing, and just try to do those things very well.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think um, having been to the brewery and inside the pub area, it does lend itself well to like folks that just want to come and gather. Like, so either they're having a special celebration, or like clubs and that kind of stuff. Do you get many of those, like, folks coming in to do, I don't know, book clubs coming in to share their stuff? I have to imagine there is, because you have a really big mug club membership as well. It's huge. That wall of glasses has gotten, like, I don't know, 8 times bigger since I first saw it.
It is crazy the
It
amount
is
of mugs
crazy.
we have hanging on the wall. So, over around 1,200, I think, right now.
Just under, yeah.
Kind of bounces between 1,100 and 1,300, somewhere in there, all hand blown glass mugs. But yeah, it's amazing. But to answer your question, yeah, we definitely do get groups that come in.
We have Sip and Stitch.
Yep.
First and third Monday of every month, so people can bring whatever project they might be working on, whether
Yeah.
it's crocheting or needlepoint or something like that, and sit around a big table and work on it together and sip on some beers, maybe a cocktail. We see a ton of teachers. We are the hub for the teachers in this community. Like, the South Line Dems are a huge group that come in, and I mean, they make our sales nights. It's amazing how they show up for us. We do
Yeah.
see a ton of different clubs and
That's
groups.
the local ham radio club comes in. They're a funny group. Yeah.
Bunch of cyclists.
Yeah.
Do they does
And we don't even know what they're doing, like they're just
yeah.
oh
Yeah.
sure, here's people coming in to do a thing, and yeah.
Right. Do the ham radio guys bring in their radios?
Oh, that would be cool.
That would be awesome. See them all setting up on the big round table,
Yep.
talking to other people in other countries, that would be, yeah.
Everybody driving up with a huge
Yeah.
antenna on their car.
Yeah.
So our brewery is actually named after the Witch's Hat train depot, which is across the street in McCaddy Park here. So like a little historic building. So when their club started, it used to be held across the street in the Witch's Hat depot. They would show up and we tell them, go across the street, go across the street. And then I think they eventually just got sick of that and realized they could meet and have a beer, and now they just come here.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I was wondering about your name and that you just based it on that depot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that depot is iconic for our community. The train running into our town brought the steel mill, which brought jobs, and that's why Ryan's grandpa moved to Michigan from Kentucky originally and settled here. So that depot is very near and dear. It's in the park where we played softball and baseball as kids, and it's actually right where Ryan and I were married. We were married at the chapel in front of the Witch's Hat.
Oh,
So
cool.
it means a lot to us.
Yeah, a little symbol of our town.
And we love Halloween too. So it was cool to have like the double meaning there, and people think of us around Halloween. So
Yeah.
That's-
Well, I'm curious now when you talked about the train depot. When did that close? It's not operating. It's not operating still, right?
It was operating until the 70s, and then they moved it across the street to the historical park.
and it's a little museum.
Yeah,
now.
it's a museum, and then there's like Aaron said, there's a chapel where we were married. That was another building that they moved. So they're kind of like collecting these little historic buildings across there, and they're getting ready to move a barn from the 1800s over there. It's
Oh, cool. So it's
cool.
becoming like a Greenfield Village then in
We'll
South
do
Lyon.
that.
yeah, way
Awesome.
smaller,
Way small.
but yeah.
Yeah, there used to be or I don't know if it's still there. There was one over in Ludington, Muskegon area, White Pine, where they had like collection of old buildings from the area and moved it in there. Or Waterloo Farm. I don't know if you've been out there, but another collection of buildings. That's cool. Awesome.
Neat.
Yeah.
So what's something you've learned from your customers or your community that's stuck with you? Like, we've covered quite a few things that I would think, but it's on my list of questions, so I thought I'd throw it out there.
Learn from our customers and our community.
Or your community. Like I was thinking of the brewers, the brewing community, showing up and like giving you all of that. I mean, like for me, but I was thinking if there was anything else.
That's a tough question. I mean, I think we've learned so
much. Like,
yeah. I think we're a business that really thrives on feedback, and so any little bit of feedback we get along the way, like we look at it right away and see how we can make changes to make our place better. So I think so much of this place has become what it is because of feedback that we've got from our community. Yeah, it'd be hard to kind of pinpoint on one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think you got me kind of stumped and
how to take care of them. The community
true.
did.
Yeah.
Like they showed us what they wanted, and we have just pivoted to do what everyone was asking for, down to the food.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, when did the kitchen start? Like right before the pandemic, right?
When it was like February 13th,
Okay.
2020.
Yeah, we went through a huge expansion in 2019. I mean, a whole building pretty much renovation, and I had to fire suppress the entire building and add the kitchen and
Candyland.
canning line and all of that in 2019, which was a huge undertaking. Ton of loans we took out, and then we finally got it opened after many hurdles, a lot from our city and other things that just kind of roadblocks that kept coming up. And we finally opened February. We were literally open for a few weeks before we had to shut down. Yeah, which was very hard. And then I guess it kind of, I don't know, it took us quite a few years to kind of figure out where we were going with that through all
Yeah.
the downs, because it seemed like we'd finally figure something out, get something going, and then something would change, right? Like, so the restrictions are opening or changing, and it was what should have happened in the matter of a few months seemed to like really drag out for a few years. But now I think we finally have it. We have a great menu and a great team.
Mostly
Kinda,
scratch food. We
Yeah.
buy really good ingredients. Got some Amish chicken and grass-fed beef, like super yummy.
yeah. Only freezer we have is taken up by hops, so nothing for the kitchen.
Taken up by hops. So, what is each of yours favorite thing on the menu?
Yeah.
Our patty melt is something to make your mouth water. It's really good.
Yeah, and maybe our fish and chips. So we get fresh fish flown in a couple times, 2-3 times a week.
Wow.
Fresh and never frozen, super good. It's giant pieces of fish. It's really delicious.
And our
Huh?
kids love the Buddha Bowl. That's what they get almost every night that take out food.
Yeah,
Quinoa and sweet potatoes, and it's a
Yep.
healthy dish.
And totally vegan as well. And it's become one of our best sellers, even being a vegan dish. It really moves, which is great.
Unexpected for
Yeah.
sure.
So do you who's your chef? Who plans your menu?
So it's really evolved over the last few years. We've had a few chefs kind of come and go and work with us for a while. Most of the things on the menu was our previous chef Mike that put a lot of things on there. But right now and for the last little over a year, we've had a team of two in the kitchen.
2 liters.
Two
Yeah.
leaders that are really just kind of been doing
Miracle
everything in
Cooking,
there.
man,
Yeah,
they're amazing.
they're great. Passionate about food, love doing what they do, and we kind of tackle that like we do everything else as a kind of team effort, with other departments as well, and get feedback and obviously from a lot of customers.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have
Nice.
fried pickles on, and customers kept asking for fried pickles, and now we have fried pickles.
It does seem like fried pickles and those little mini tacos are like a staple at a lot of places. Like, you got to have that with beer. I don't know why. I do like a fried pickle here and there, but
We don't have that many tacos, but we make spent grain pretzels. So we make pretzels from brewer's grain that we brew with, and they're fantastic. So it's kind of like one of our staples. That and our French fries, we hand cut fries, just delicious.
We try
nice.
to change those to smaller fries, and boy,
Revolt.
people let us
Didn't
know.
go
Well, yeah, I'm with them. Anytime you see those little like stupid string fries, I'm like, why? What is
Yep.
the point of this?
Didn't go well.
Oh.
Because that's one thing we learned from our customers. They don't want stringy fries.
Stringy greasy fries, no. We want thick, yeah, hand cut. Oh, that's
All
awesome.
this conversation's making me hungry. I'm in.
Oh man.
So we're getting close to the end. We have a couple more. We have 3 more questions. But is there anything that we haven't hit on that you want to mention? Any call outs? Anything before we start to wrap up the interview?
I guess the craft beer right now is going through a very difficult time, and
Mhm.
I'm sure you both are aware, and I'm sure a lot of the customers listening to this or people listening to this are going to know as well. But I guess just thank you for those that are still supporting craft beer and breweries. And I hope that people continue. We've known that there's this bubble that was going to burst, and our industry has really taken a hit the last few years. And we're seeing, a lot of bad things, but we're also seeing a lot of good things. And you know, the market's changing. So I guess just with that, thank you to those that are still so wanting to listen to a brewer talk, right? Like, we've been doing this for a long time, but thank you for supporting and keeping, your small brewery in your community going.
I do think that that's part of the with the breweries that have been. I guess what I'm trying to say is it has been a struggle for everyone in the brewing industry. It's clear, but I think the breweries that stand out and I think are still surviving and being able to push through is because they do have a community. They're the local hub in their community. They are treating those folks, their customers, like they want them there. They love them. They want to see them. They feel welcome, and so then there's a reciprocal. Like, well, if I'm going to spend, some money, I'm going to go to Witch's Hat, or I'm going to go, wherever that local brewery or establishment is. I think that's a key ingredient, at least to me.
Oh yeah. We, as an industry, we grew too fast. There's too many.
We were
too
licensed
compact.
100 or 101, and there was over 500 breweries in the state of Michigan, like within a few years after that.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how fast it blew up.
Yeah.
But yeah, every community can have a brewery or even two, but yeah.
Well, and I think also it's maybe somewhat detrimental. I don't want to get all into the licensing because I know that's a problem or can be a problem, but it does seem to be that like breweries are also diversifying if they can, depending on what their licensing is. Like you said, you now getting into distilled spirits, wine. Are you brewing? Are you fermenting your own wine, or is it bonded, or how's that working?
We do both. We make mead, so the wines we do
Ah,
make, we make our own mead.
yep.
We do work with another winery to get our own wine, so they just do it so much better. So with Chantel, they're fantastic. But yeah, I mean, you have to diversify right now with the market changing, and even in the beer space, like big barrel aged stouts and crazy one-off beers aren't selling like they used to. It's really kind of coming back to cores and just simple beers done very well. It's really changing, and I think we have all had to really adjust as quickly as you can and try to keep up with all of this that's happened in the last 5 and 6 years. So yeah, those that are gonna make it through are the ones that are gonna be diversifying, are gonna be,
Focus on quality.
paying attention to the market, what's going on.
Yeah.
So, if you had to describe Witch's Hat in 3 beers, what would they be?
3 beers.
Yeah, pick 3 beers that you've done. How would pick 3 of them. This is your trick. This is kind of like a story problem if you think about it.
We got 3 I
Were
was
they?
thinking of too. Yeah. So I think that's pretty easy for us. Train Hopper, number 1, Trax Night Fury, and Blueberry Lemonade Gose. So I think those are like the 3 beers that for us have really, I guess, really just probably the 3 beers that when you ask somebody, hey, have you ever had a beer from Witch's Hat? One of those 3 beers will probably come out of it. Train Hopper has been our flagship IPA since we opened, and Aaron will tell you that like I couldn't brew an IPA to save my life. We opened, somehow Train Hopper happened, and it's been fantastic.
It's been amazing. We were living in Whitmore Lake at the time, and that water didn't make great IPAs.
Yeah,
Southline's water does.
Yeah, and then Trax. We started. You actually mentioned Fury and starting Fury because we had a bunch of Night Fury barrels. So that actually our first 2 Furies were down in the strip mall, the old location. And when we had loved barrel aging at that point, had to get into it, had to do it to the point of our old tap room had 8 tables. And we took one of them away to put a stack of barrels in there. And like, why are we doing this? Like, we have to do barrel aged beers. We have to do this. And, at that time, that's what it was. But we ended up, doing a few like Night Furies and different variations. Like our first one was like Vanilla Bean Night Fury. That was the very first one. And then we, actually sitting at the bar, drinking that, talking to customers. And they started like just bouncing ideas back and forth. And we came, I don't even know how it came up, but like a Moose Tracks themed barrel aged stout came up. And then next thing you know, we're making tracks for the first time.
Throwing peanut butter in a beer.
Throwing peanut butter in beer. It went really well. It sold well for the first time. It was a St. Patrick's Day. And then by the next time we were going to release it, we had like 400 people come and spend the night waiting to get it the next day. And
Oh man.
ran out and had a bunch of angry customers at us, and it was, but also really good. And then at that point, it that became a beer, for the beer nerds that just had to have. It's a a fest staple, and people really knew it was for. And I think we had a really good barrel aging program for quite a few years. I think we still do. And then the last one, Blueberry Lemonade Gose, we were the actual first brewery in the state to brew a Gose in 2013. Like before that style really kind of came back. We did a collaboration with Country Boy in Kentucky, and we did their Gose the Neighborhood. That was the first one. And a bunch of Goses popped up. A bigger brewery had that name. So like, all right, well, we'll pivot a little bit. And then we did Blueberry Lemonade Gose, and that beer really became a number 2 rival to Train Hopper as far as people drinking it and where it market and all that stuff, and still to this day, we have it on year round, and it's fantastic sour and fruit beer. And
That's really interesting because I would not think of most people like gravitating toward a Gose. I mean, I know there's people that love a good sour, but Gose always seems to throw people off. They're like, oh, I don't know what the hell that is. Why is it called a goose?
right.
So what is a Gose?
All right.
What is a Gose?
So a Gose is a salted sour beer.
Okay.
Yeah, so German in nature or in origin. It was a very common style for a long time, and then it just kind of went by the wayside as technology improved, and it was started just because they had brackish water, and it just came out salty. Wasn't fruited, wasn't like a lot of the Goses you see here in the States and everywhere else now, but yeah, it kind of like just disappeared, and it was a forgotten about style, and then it started to make a resurgence in the early 2010s. And then we decided to, throw fruit in it, which isn't very traditional.
Mess it all up.
Yeah, mess it all up. Tasty. So
our German cousins don't quite approve.
No, disapprove. But yeah, there's a touch of saltiness. I mean, it's not so salty that like you're really like puckering after it when you're puckering from the sweet sourness, but just a little bit of briny saltiness just makes you keep going back for more, and then the sourness. So thirst quenching. It's just a great beer.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely love that style because it's much smoother than people think. They think it's going to be, even if you think sours are like truly tart, that one is not. It's like very smooth, and so thinking back on previous Furies, the event itself, what's something that a memory you think of that makes you laugh every time you think about it from years past?
And that year that it poured rain, and I was running around with all the ponchos trying to get people to stay. Sitting up with the water, the band equipment was getting washed away. Oh my gosh, it was nuts. Stone Clover had just arrived, and they had all their equipment in the front tent, and it was just filling with water, and we were trying to like, oh man.
When was that? What year was that?
2016.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
2017, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Man, it poured. And I buy ponchos before every Fury because I figure if I buy them, it won't rain. Like, so I come prepared. So there had been many years that I bought ponchos and it didn't rain. So I had years worth of ponchos, hundreds of ponchos, and people stayed. They were done.
That's awesome.
All sorts of hurdles at Fury, yeah. Like, the draft coolers go down right after we open, and so then there's
right before Verb Pipe.
Oh yeah, like last year, right before the Verve Pipe played, we had so we had to get a bigger stage and bigger lights and everything for the band, and the stage was so big that we couldn't even get up to get the lights. When they put it up there, lights are up there and there they are. So it rained like an hour and a half before, nothing crazy, but it shorted out all of the lights.
Oh,
So, we have, I don't know, 1,300 people in the parking lot ready to watch Verve Pipe. It's getting dark. And then we are, running around doing everything that we're doing like we like normally do. And the sound guys come up to me and they're like, hey, just so you know, the lights are not working and Verve Pipe can't play. Like, no, they have to play. And they're telling us they're not going to play. And so Rob from North of the Winery, who's actually playing this year in Dead at the Winery, drove back to his winery to get all of his stage lights from their show, brought them all back here just in time, set them up on stage, and so the band actually played.
Single-handedly, he saved the event.
And
holy cow.
right? So here we are running around stressing and sweating, and everyone else having a good time, think everything's going on normal and all this stuff. And oh man,
Wow.
it was all worked out, but it was a stressful hour.
It's all
Sure.
both of our lives.
Well, that of the things that I thought you might say, that was not one of them.
All right.
Yeah, we just assume it always running smoothly. You guys look happy. Everyone looks happy, when we've been in. It's like, oh yeah, no problems.
Like ducks, yeah, for sure.
Ducks on pond. Underneath just moving.
I think both of those would have made me cry, not necessarily laugh, but
If you don't laugh, you will cry, right?
Oh man. Well, we're down to the last question. Are you guys ready?
Sure.
And you both can you can either do a collab answer or you can each do your own individuals. But it is so what is your perfect Michigan day? So like, where would you go? What would you do? And what beer would you finish it off with?
Good question. Perfect Michigan day.
Gotta be up in the UP.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sure. So I think what Aaron just said, UP, Lake Superior, Marquette. We kayaked up there, the Pictured Rocks a couple times, and it was just amazing. So I think, waking up early, going out and doing that for a few hours, which was just incredible. Coming back and just kind of like, I don't know.
Rock hunting a little
Yeah,
bit.
rock hunting.
Yep,
Yeah.
love to rock hunt. And then
Eating some good whitefish.
Oh yes.
And perfect beer to end with.
I gotta have a pickle beer.
Pickle
Did
beer?
you guys have that pickle beer from Unexpected at Beer Fest?
the Mr.
I
Pickles?
saw that on the list and I didn't get over there for it.
I didn't think I was gonna like it. I went back
Yeah, it's
3 times for that beer. It was truly enjoyed that beer.
Pickle beer.
I think I would have a different finishing beer. I think I would with a Jolly Pumpkin. Honestly, Noel is probably one of our favorites. But end it with one of the greatest breweries and beers that Michigan's ever put out. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic. Well, Ryan, Aaron, thank you guys so much for talking with us on Life in Michigan.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And yeah, if anyone out there, last little plug, if you want to come to Fury for a Feast, August 16th, Saturday, you don't need advance tickets. It's $15 at the door or $13 if you bring 2 non-perishable canned food items. And we'll have a whole bunch of great barrel-aged beers and regular beers on, live music, good times. So thank you guys for sponsoring once again. You're incredible. We really appreciate that. And yeah, thanks for your time.
Yeah, well, thank you guys.
Cheers.
All right, see ya.
See ya.
Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast service to catch every episode of Life in Michigan. Help us spread the word by rating the show, sharing it with your friends, your neighbors, your family, your mail carrier. Share it with everybody, and leave a comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Stay connected by following us on our website and social media. This is a Life in Michigan production. Until next time, take care and have a fantabulous day in Michigan.